Welcome to the Bodyguard podcast, where science meets natural healing to uncover the root causes of complex health issues. Your host, Christine Barnes, is a leading complex case health practitioner specializing in functional testing and personalized care. This show dives deep into clinical analysis, cutting-edge diagnostics, natural therapies, and holistic strategies to optimize your health and well-being. Your health is unique. Your healing should be too.
Today we're stepping into a topic that's rarely talked about, but might be sabotaging your rest every single night. We're diving into the connection between heavy metals like mercury, lead, arsenic, and aluminium, and your sleep health. If you've tried every lavender tea, supplement, sleep hack, you're still waking up at 2 a.m. wired and exhausted, this episode might be for you. Firstly, what exactly are heavy metals? Heavy metals are naturally occurring elements, but in high concentrations, especially from industrial, environmental, or dietary sources. So we're all exposed to heavy metals, and they can disrupt human physiology. However, some people accumulate heavy metals more than others if they're not detoxing all aspects that need to be detoxed appropriately. So what are the top heavy metal culprits? Mercury, commonly found in large fish, tuna, swordfish, shark, can be from leaky dental amalgams, and some vaccines include mercury. Lead, this can be from old plumbing, imported cookware, ceramics, house dust, soil, all sorts of sources. Arsenic, common in groundwater, especially pertinent, it can be from rice that is sourced from Asia and is part of pesticide formulations. Aluminium. Now, interestingly, aluminium can be in things that we're using every day that we're not even thinking about. So it's in antacids, deodorants, cookware, and processed foods. According to the National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey in 2023, over 30% of Americans tested had detectable levels of multiple heavy metals in their blood and urine. Many of them did not know. And in my work, mainly here in Australia and Asia, it's a common finding. Here's where it gets interesting and troubling. Heavy metals accumulate in the central nervous system, particularly in the pineal gland, hypothalamus, and limbic structures, all of which regulate your sleep-wake rhythm. So you can see where the problem is. A 2023 meta-analysis published in Environmental Research linked chronic low-level mercury and lead exposure to increased insomnia, nightmares, and fragmented REM sleep. Arsenic and aluminium are shown to impair melatonin production and induce oxidative stress in the pineal gland. So if you've listened to my other podcasts on heavy metals, you'll recall me speaking about melatonin. Here in Australia, that is a pharmaceutical only available from your medical doctor. It's naturally occurring within us, and when I'm talking about the impaired production, that's the natural occurring production. Cortisol and circadian rhythm disruption is just sad when it comes to our sleep. Heavy metals act as endocrine disruptors. Lead and cadmium, in particular, elevate nighttime cortisol, leading to the classic tired and wired presentation. So if this sounds like you, this podcast's for you. A 2024 study published in Toxicology Letters showed that aluminium exposure disrupted circadian gene expression, altered both sleep architecture and daytime fatigue patterns. So, how would you know if heavy metals are part of your sleep problem? Well, you generally don't know, but if you've got a sleep problem, I do highly recommend that we rule out heavy metals as part of your investigation process. But clues might be chronically waking between 1 and 3 a.m. with anxiety and rapid heartbeat in particular. This is often tied to liver detox activity, tingling in hands, feet, tinnitus or a metallic taste, unexplained brain fog, irritability or mood swings, poor response or worsening from typical calming supplements like magnesium and melatonin. So that's why I said earlier, if you've feel like you've tried everything that should be calming you down and should be contributing in a positive way to your sleep patterns and is not, it might be time for us to test rather than guess. We can do a lab test that is a blood test. However, this is really only going to show up if you've had a high level of acute exposure. So, do we do it? Yes, highly recommend blood testing. However, a negative result can be misleading, as this test alone will only show heavy metals if they are very, very high and acute. What is more reliable is a hair tissue mineral analysis called HTMA. It's what I recommend and use every week, as it's not invasive. However, it does require an experienced professional to interpret the results, as the results aren't always obvious. So if you are choosing to do a HTMA, you really need to embrace a qualified and experienced practitioner to interpret those results, because the surface results are not going to give you the right guidance. So let's talk some solutions. So there's a lot of naturally and grounded evidence that can help us with a gentle daily detox to support us ongoing. The body's designed to detox. Now, if you don't have the right beneficial minerals that support detox pathways, that needs addressing first. So we need the right conditions to be able to detox effectively. There are 3 phases of detoxification. Phase 1 is liver activation. Now, these are some simple things that you can do at home. So just increase your cruciferous vegetables. So that's cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. Phase 2 is the conjugation. So nutrients that help with this are broccoli sprouts and sources of vitamin B. So you could go for a vitamin B complex and include broccoli sprouts in your salads. You could get a broccoli sprout powder, for example. And there's some other more prescriptive nutrients that can help with this as well. Glycine, NAC. Phase 1 can be helped with practitioner prescribed products that are specific for phase 1 support. Phase 3 is the elimination phase. Now, again, you can do at-home treatment with this purely by increasing your sources of fiber. So you want lots of vegetable fibers, and then think about flax seeds, chia seeds, psyllium husk. Proper hydration. And if you're not familiar with my thoughts on hydration and how they can help across the board health and wellness, please look for my podcast on hydration. But really look at staying well hydrated in order to support gentle daily detox. And bowel regularity and health. And again, I've got another podcast on that. So we're looking for daily bowel movements that are nice and long. They're a good diameter. They sink, don't float. They're a good color. It's a whole subject in itself. So I'll throw in a bodyguard tip here. Start with food-based detox. And this is going to take you forward throughout your life and support you. Don't jump into chelators and binders, especially those that have serious marketing behind them. I certainly don't recommend you don't go down that path unless you've got some level of supervision with your naturopath. So yes, we can use other nutrients that are very helpful. Foods to consider are cilantro. So this is also something that is very helpful. I know there's a certain number in the population that hates cilantro. It's also called coriander. But cilantro, coriander, whatever you want to call it, can be really helpful. So if you like it, please include it in your diet. It's very good for mobilizing metals. Binding, I'd stick with fibers at the moment, unless you're seeking out a practitioner. But certainly, as a practitioner, when I'm looking at a heavy metal detox, I'm looking at ways to bind after I've motivated those heavy metals. You can use something for your home health, especially if you've got a history of aluminium, or even if you've got a family history of things like Alzheimer's. Just by including the silica-rich mineral from things like Fiji water. This helps mobilize and excrete aluminium. And I'm going to throw in a warning here. Overuse of binders without opening elimination pathways can worsen symptoms. So, when we're looking at, from a practitioner perspective, I often see patients present and go, I've been trying to get rid of my heavy metals and I just get worse. Often it's because the detox isn't done in the right order, or they're doing too much in one area. It's just unbalanced. So we want to make sure that that is a process that we're going through, and hopefully it's highly individualized for you. Now, I'm going to speak briefly about herbs and natural adaptogens to restore sleep amid a detox. Ashwagandha can be very helpful for modulating the cortisol and protects against mercury-induced oxidative damage. Now, I'm not prescribing here. I'm just planting that seed, that thought that it may be beneficial to include some herbs if you're considering down the detox pathway to support your nervous system and allow your nervous system to adapt and restore that sleep cycle. Lemon balm and passion flower are very good at calming the nervous system while supporting liver enzymes. Now, I don't recommend lemon balm if your thyroid is already functioning at a low level or slow, because it will slow the thyroid even further. So in that case, if you're unsure or you have got a slow thyroid, maybe choose passion flower instead of both lemon balm and passion flower. Magnesium glycinate, you may have heard me talk about that for sleep issues previously. Magnesium threonate, again, these both replenish loss caused by metal exposure. However, if you're doing a hair tissue mineral test, this will provide information on what your nutrient needs are specifically. So these aren't magic nutrients, and if you have healthy levels, you may not need these. But they've been made popular for aiding in deep and deeper sleep quality. So let's look at a little challenge. I'm going to throw this out to you that this is this week's challenge for sleep and sleep ritual. And hopefully you can then absorb these concepts and carry them forward throughout your life. So consider having a good serving of cooked greens and possibly a tablespoon of flaxseed, either during the day or later in the day, and in particular with your evening meal. Take a warm Epsom salt bath. just before bed. This can help clear toxins, and it's a transdermal or skin-absorbed form of magnesium. Now, go heavy on the magnesium. I'd look at, a good 2 mugfuls in the bath. Consider journaling. So what we want to journal about is how do we feel emotionally today, but also include thoughts on and document physical sensations that you felt throughout the day. This helps you to reconnect with both your mind and the body. Let the body do its job and trust that better sleep often follows when there's better flow in your life, in your thoughts, in your body. So in closing, here's the truth. Your poor sleep may not be from stress alone, but from what's stored in your tissues. The good news is your body knows how to clear it. With awareness, nourishment, and rhythm, you can support your detox without overwhelm. Thanks for joining me today. If this resonated with you, please share it with somebody who may be struggling with sleep. And don't forget to leave a review, or if you're loving these Science Meets Nature deep dives, please subscribe for further future thoughts on all things science and nature. Until next time.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Bodyguard podcast. We hope you found valuable insights to help you take control of your health journey. Want to dive deeper? Visit thebodyguard.com.au to learn more about our work, explore resources, and discover how personalized care can transform your well-being. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with others on social media. Your support helps us reach more people looking for answers. Until next time, take care and keep prioritizing your health, because your healing should be as unique as you are. Please note the information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The Bodyguard accepts no liability for any loss or damage arising from the use of this content. Always consult a healthcare professional.